I had to respond to every stupid thing Alex said, we'd be here all night. Alright, so, Alex, what is the Occupy Wall Street movement, essentially?
Now, definitively tell you what this is. George Soros linked and White House linked groups and known White House and Democratic Party operatives.
Toronto Star story disagrees because a lot of the people are upset with Obama. In fact, it's not a bunch of Obama fanboys. I mean, I'm not an Obama fan. I live in Vancouver. Adbusters started it. I live in Vancouver. Adbusters is from Vancouver. I plan to go to my banks. I have friends in Australia that plan to protest. So, but anyway, explain to me how it's all George Soros, because, you know, I hang out with him. We share a treehouse, a vacation treehouse in New York.
And I watched these videos last night. I watched them this morning and really confirmed that what Webster Tarpley said on my show Wednesday on InfoWars Nightly News, when he went through the fact that look at the slogans, look at the groups. This is clearly a fake George Sorosian kind of color revolution. The globalists create revolutions to counter themselves so they control the opposition. Now, I remember 2 weeks ago seeing the George Soros White House connections, but still I wasn't sure. Then you see the police attacking them, which is designed to make them martyrs. And of course, there's other diverse groups there and just grassroots people there. So you can't color it with one brush.
Right, but you can myopically sort of say it's all this, but since it's not completely bullshit, let's color the edges with a bit of reality that you all know is there. Alright, there is a real left and right. There is a real corruption of politics. There is real PR industries. Again, though, rich people that give money are a good thing. George Soros supports the Million Marijuana March, which every year has millions of people around the world march to legalize marijuana. That's a good thing, Alex. That's a government off people's throats thing. That's a fairer capitalism thing. You know, even the idea that marijuana would be illegal is absolutely maddening. So, again, though, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett give money. They've given $35 billion each, I believe, or, well, either way, Warren Buffett gave the largest donation in history, both atheists. Meanwhile, the Catholic Church sits in a gold city hoarding their cash and, you know, paying off, you know, abuse victims and moving around priests that you don't know about. And, you know, you're concerned about George Soros giving to social causes. Okay, first of all, even if he was helping some of these causes, so fucking what? Warren Buffett himself said he should pay more taxes, and he should. And, you know, just the idea that, like, a few of the world's billionaires could actually give a shit, and then you'd be terrified of this, you know? You're so ideological that you're never going to be intellectual.
The point is, though, that the mainstream media, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the New York Daily News, CNN, all of them are giving this massive attention.
They ignored it and laughed it off at first, and the attention I've seen so far hasn't been that amazing. The media can't ignore it at this point, though, but best coverage I've seen has been independent media. Maybe you'd also know about Adbusters and Anonymous and how this started and how Adbusters started it. Not a lot of people supported it. Kelly Lawson got 20,000 people down there because he has money from the sale of his magazine Adbusters, and, you know, he got 20,000 activists down there, and then Anonymous supported it, and Anonymous is cool with the kids. Anonymous is pretty cool overall, quite frankly. Any group that costs corporations millions of dollars is pretty cool, but, you know, you know, you don't just have to be young. You know, you talk about research. You don't even do enough research to understand where Anonymous comes from, for one, which, you know, originally organized on Chan boards to attack Scientology. It wasn't a Chan board. You know, maybe if you did enough research, you'd even know what came before the actual American-style Chan boards. You know, like, the history. That'd be tricky or interesting. It's kind of whatever. Look up if you want. The point is, Alex, you're full of shit, and your confusion is more related to the fact that you're not exactly as astute as you make yourself out to be when it comes to navigating these webs.
When they don't give in the Fed attention going after the real heart of the problem.
Yeah, that's funny, because the Fed is a target if you would actually look into the actual materials released, but anyway.
The real top of the pyramid. So that's happening. So we got that going on. The media is giving them attention, and they're giving attention to, and now it's happening in LA, Chicago, Boston, all over the country. We're seeing the Occupy Wall Street movement. And we'll go over their demands in a moment. They're all scripted with a Democratic Party type operative up front who says mindless slogans who were then mindlessly repeated by the crowd. So this is right.
No, it's because we're the 99%, and that's not a mindless slogan. That's actually, that's one of the powerful memes that can cut through things. This is another thing. You'd understand memes if you're a little younger, or maybe you're a little more used to using the internet, or you read more. You know, it's like I said, you're not a reader. I just cannot picture you sitting there with a stack of new books, or, you know, like a stack of science magazines. You know, I don't even know how many books I've read, but, you know, I've read 2 books that deal with memes specifically. And those are, you know, and those are whole books on memes. Let alone what you can, let alone every kid these days practically knows what a meme is. I used to talk about memes back when I used to read Adbusters. No one around me knew what I was talking about when it comes to memes or Adbusters, and no one knew the word meme. Now everyone knows the word meme. You know, and yeah, slogans are imperfect. Songs are imperfect. You can sometimes get across a lot more in a book than you can a song. A song can sort of give someone a clue or wake them up a bit, but you know, a slogan might not be everything, but the idea that you can't get something out of a statement that leads you to a site, that leads you to a network with people you relate to and talk to and whatever, is the idea that you can't get something out of that is absolutely ridiculous. So let's get back to your bullshit.
Right out of central casting, right out of the Democratic Party,
except it's not at all.
Out of George Soros, and we've done the research. It's all linked to those groups. You've got articles up at Infowars.com and PrisonPod.com breaking that down.
Yeah, your site is abhorrent. Your site looks to me to be like, I mean, I don't do meth myself, but your site looks to me to be what? If there's a web designer who is very, very experienced at making web pages, and then he fell into a horrible, horrible meth addiction, and he lost his skills, your site to me looks like your site looks to me like the project that would fucking make him take his own life. Rightfully, of course. So, yeah, and then there's the fact you're full of shit. Then there's the fact you don't know anything about the Large Hadron Collider, or, you know, you say there's more fraud in the evolutionist camp. Like, there's 2 camps. Like, there's 2 respectable camps. Oh, Alex, you man product. You monkey man product.
More tomorrow. So why is the establishment doing this? Why? Because they know that the country has woken up to the private Federal Reserve hijacking the nation. We've woken up to the planned austerity, to raise our taxes, cut our benefits, steal our Social Security, unfunded mandates to the states, and then take that money and pay it to Wall Street through the banker bailouts, which are direct taxes to them. We see the same thing happening in Europe right now. Taxes going up, benefits going down. The public signed on to hundreds and hundreds of trillion.
Okay, yeah, you know, and everyone knows this. We've been fleeced, you know. But, you know, you reach all the wrong conclusions. And when there's finally a grassroots pushback, you fucking reject it. So, congratulations for once again being the sailboat captain of the internet and getting things completely wrong.
They call themselves anonymous. They are hackers on steroids.
Police say they have arrested 3 suspected hackers believed to be part of an international network.
A group calling themselves Anonymous has vowed to destroy the Church of Scientology.
Anonymous, a group responsible for Operation Payback, which temporarily crippled the websites of MasterCard, Visa, and PayPal.
We are Legion. Anonymous. Distributed denial of service to bar the staff will trap when doubts attack. Suits without a head, scared and shit. They slap you up with facts. A sense of compassion and justice must be swift. How turn the hurt in the pockets of white supremacists. These nemesis is never this vicious. Controlling that for missions equals your position. Your files get a couple missing. What if they diss and posturing and speaking out of fear? Super consciousness, our warriors of virtual bombardiers. We don't forget, we don't forget. Expect us ones that know what you protect us. Come together as a legion. Internet unite, connect us. We will make our presence known. We got folks on the megaphones. As Q inject intravenously like it's pregnant zone. Rebelling on the larger scale. When Jonas came to slay the whale we hip. So they slither and swinging the blizzards by their tail. Check their mail to face professional looking webpage when I rhyme. I whip the sequels, catatonic backstage, spelling the message, encapsulated in the rap track. Black is logic, your knowledge, target back ass, put a back track. And I'm the type of person never had that. Destruction of Chris Fall camp, put away the stats that. We vigilant, the vigilant, Mistaken up the anti-cross sites with the Felicia Palmer with punched up anti-epilepsy foundation, far from invasion. Turks and Brazilians, Tunisians, even Malaysians.
Website we pulled up just to see, have a look about what's going on. It talks about the power people now have on the internet if they want to do this.
Technically speaking, they are heroes because they can solve everything. They are up all over the security systems.